Brace yourselves, dear readers, because we're about to wade knee-deep into the swamp of Hollywood's most rancid scandal yet. We're talking about none other than Sean Diddy Combs, the self-anointed emperor of hip-hop, whose crown is apparently forged from blackmail, debauchery, and a staggering lack of shame. Viewer discretion advised? Sweetheart, you'll need a full-body detox after this dive into the cesspool of Diddy's world. What's oozing out of the federal courtroom, courtesy of Jaime Foxx's soul-bearing, tear-soaked testimony, paints a picture of a man who's less a music mogul and more a maestro of moral decay, conducting a symphony of sleaze with a baton dipped in desperation. Before we even start peeling back the layers of this onion of outrage, let's get one thing crystal clear. Diddy's mansion isn't a home, a studio, or even a party pad. Oh no, it's a labyrinth of lust, a gilded fortress of filth, where the elite are lured in with whispers of power and brotherhood, only to stagger out with their dignity in shreds, if they make it out at all. Jaime Foxx, once the poster boy for charisma and class, took the stand in a federal courtroom and spilled his guts like a man possessed. And trust us, this wasn't a rehearsed monologue for an awards show, hands trembling, voice cracking, full-on sobbing in front of a jury. This was a man haunted by the specters of Diddy's so-called celebrations. And we're not talking about innocent bashes with streamers and punch bowls, unless you count hidden cameras, locked doors, and psychological warfare as party favors. According to Jaime's gut-wrenching account, stepping into Diddy's infamous estate was like crossing the threshold into a twisted alternate reality. Picture this: a night of heavy drinking and fake smiles, where the air reeks of champagne and desperation. Suddenly, the vibe shifts from festive to foreboding, as Jaime is led into a private wing of the mansion. Strangers linger in the shadows. Definitely not the usual crowd of artists or execs, but folks who look like they'd rather be anywhere else, their eyes darting nervously as if they've seen the devil himself. Then, one of Diddy's lackeys ushers Jaime into a soundproofed theater, because nothing screams normal party like a room designed to muffle screams, right? Where a video is already queued up, ready to shatter his psyche. I didn't know if it was real or staged, but I know what I felt. Jaime wept under oath. My stomach dropped. Locked doors, cryptic commands to watch, and a chilling insistence that somebody has been through this. Gee, Diddy, what kind of VIP initiation is this? Sounds more like a ticket to Trauma Town. But hold on to your hats, because this rabbit hole of revulsion goes deeper than a bad movie plot. Jaime's testimony didn't just expose a wild party gone wrong, it unveiled a man who allegedly runs his empire like a surveillance state straight out of a dystopian nightmare. Hidden cameras everywhere, bedrooms, hallways, even bathrooms, because apparently nothing says "welcome to my home" like filming your guests without a shred of consent. A secret vault of digital dirt, a currency of secrets, as Jaime so aptly dubbed it, stuffed with footage of celebs, politicians, athletes, and executives caught in compromising positions. Diddy, are you running a record label or a blackmail cartel? This isn't just sleazy, it's downright sinister. These aren't home movies for nostalgia. They're insurance policies, tools to keep the powerful on a tight leash. And the kicker? Most of these poor saps had no clue they were being recorded while they stumbled through intoxicated haze or worse, engaged in acts that could only be described as disturbing or non-consensual. It's not just voyeurism, folks. It's ownership. Diddy doesn't just watch. He owns souls, or at least he thinks he does. Let's talk about the fallout, shall we? Jaime didn't just leave that mansion with a pounding headache. He left with a metaphorical target painted on his back. A scarlet letter branding him as a threat to Diddy's House of Horrors. A mysterious package shows up at his production office one day. No return address, just his name scrawled in ominous black marker. Inside, a flash drive with grainy footage of Jaime's horrified face, captured in that cursed theater room by a hidden camera he never knew existed. The final frame? A black screen with the bone-chilling words, "Just remember." Real classy, Diddy. Real subtle. Then come the phone calls. Not outright threats, mind you, just friendly reminders to keep his trap shut, sweetened with a 7-figure NDA that might as well have been written in blood. When Jaime had the audacity to refuse, Hollywood turned on him faster than a reality TV villain gets voted off the island. Major offers vanished into thin air, projects hit inexplicable roadblocks, and producers who once sang his praises ghosted him like he was a bad Tinder date. "I became radioactive overnight," Jaime lamented in court, all because he wouldn't bow to the sleaze king of Tinseltown. If this isn't the most pathetic petty power trip in the history of celebrity scandals, we don't know what is. And oh, the layers of this scandal just keep getting juicier, or should we say, more nauseating. Jaime's testimony painted a picture of ritualistic gatherings that sound like they were ripped from the pages of a cult handbook. Imagine this. It's 2 a.m., and a procession of robed figures slinks through the mansion's hallways toward that dreaded theater room. Guests are handed drinks, some blindfolded, others blatantly filmed, while Diddy stands at the center, orchestrating the chaos with a smirk that could curdle milk. Handlers, not guests, mind you, but facilitators, hover like vultures, ensuring every depraved moment is captured on tape, whispering in ears, keeping tabs on everyone. Jaime believed they weren't just recording for kicks. They were documenting behavior for leverage, building a library of blackmail to wield against anyone who dared step out of line. Later, when Jaime returned to his room, he found the door ajar. Inside, everything was untouched, except for a photo of him and Diddy from years back, now perched on the nightstand like a taunt. It hadn't been there before, he swore. On the back, a handwritten note. Brotherhood. More like a brotherhood of betrayal. A frat house forged in hellfire and hidden agendas. Then there's the so-called blackout incident, a moment so bizarre it could star in a cheap horror flick. At around 2 a.m., the entire estate plunges into sudden darkness. Jaime initially thought it was a power outage, but the timing felt too orchestrated, too sinister. The music cuts off abruptly. Hallway lights blink twice, then silence. The air turns cold, not just from the AC, but from a tension that grips the house like a vice. Everyone froze, Jaime recalled. The vibe shifted. No one was laughing. No one was talking. It was like they'd been through this before. A tall man in a suit, far too serious for a supposed party, emerges from a room and barks, "No phones, no cameras, everyone back inside." Jaime, unnerved but curious, creeps down a hallway and peeks through a cracked door. What he hears sends chills down his spine. Whispers, metallic clanging, and a muffled scream. Male. Desperate. He wouldn't name who he saw, but he made it clear this wasn't a party game, and it sure as heck wasn't consensual. Shadows moved. Figures stood in a circle. Someone appeared restrained. A woman walked calmly through the room, jotting notes on a pad, and locked eyes with Jaime through the crack. She didn't scream or alert anyone. She just smiled, a cold, knowing grin, then shut the door in his face. "That's when I knew," Jaime told the jury. "This wasn't a home. This was a theater, a stage where people were made into props. Diddy, are you throwing parties or directing a twisted psychological thriller?" Let's not forget the upstairs level, the forbidden zone of Diddy's domain. Off limits, unless you're invited. Jaime, in a moment of disorientation while searching for a restroom, accidentally opens the wrong door, and finds himself at the base of a dimly lit staircase, red emergency bulbs casting an eerie glow. A faint hum buzzes from above. He swears he saw two figures at the top, whispering, one locking eyes with him. "You lost?" the man asks, voice colder than a winter night. Jaime mumbles an apology and turns back, but not before glimpsing a heavy black curtain or sheet draped in the hallway, a faint white light blinking beneath it. "I knew that was where they kept the good stuff," he quipped sarcastically in court. Not good as in fun, but good as in evidence, secrets, control. A friend later confided that the upstairs level was where the meetings happened. "What kind of meetings?" Jaime pressed. The reply, "The kind where people give up something to get something." That line haunted him for years, a riddle wrapped in a threat, a reminder that Diddy's world operates on transactions of the darkest kind. The pièce de résistance of this whole sordid saga, though, is the sheer scope of Diddy's alleged influence. A web of corruption so vast it could snag even the highest flyers. Jaime dropped a bombshell in court, claiming an FBI agent, reaching out unofficially after years of investigating Diddy, warned him about top-level connections and over 30 sealed complaints tied to misconduct, trafficking, and extortion, none of which ever made it past grand juries. "He's protected," the agent allegedly said. "People in places you wouldn't believe." Jaime went further, alleging the agent hinted at sealed documents implicating a former U.S. president in attending one of Diddy's exclusive fundraisers, where surveillance tapes were believed to have rolled. He made it clear he didn't know if anything illegal went down, but the mere suggestion that high-ranking individuals dodged association with the investigation speaks volumes. "Diddy, you're not just a sleaze. You're a menace with a Rolodex of untouchables, a puppet master pulling strings in shadows so dark they'd make Machiavelli blush." Jaime's final plea: "If something happens to me after this, I want the world to know I told the truth," lands like a gut punch, a stark reminder that this isn't just a celebrity scandal. It's a cesspool of systemic corruption, a machine oiled by fear and silence. But let's zoom in on Diddy himself, shall we? What kind of man builds an empire not on talent or hustle, but on fear, filth, and footage? Sean Diddy Combs, once hailed as a visionary, now stands exposed as the poster child for Hollywood's underbelly. A man who turned the dream factory into a nightmare mill. He collects secrets, like cheap souvenirs, wielding silence like a weapon, crafting cages out of people's worst moments, and dangling the key just out of reach. Jaime described late-night calls from terrified peers, like a beloved actress who received footage of herself passed out, a stranger hovering over her, unsure if it went further, unsure if anyone would believe her. "Diddy, is this your legacy? Turning trust into terror? Friendships into leverage? You've got celebs defending you not out of loyalty, but out of dread, terrified their own footage might surface. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it. And the audacity doesn't stop at surveillance. Jaime testified about NDAs so aggressive they might as well come with a gag order and a guillotine. Guests at Diddy's parties often had to surrender their phones, ostensibly for privacy. But Jaime believes they were cloned, messages and voicemails archived for future use. "The real danger wasn't what you did at those parties," he said. "It was what they took from you. Your data, your voice, your fear." Then there's the aftermath of defiance. Jaime refused to sign on the dotted line, and suddenly, brand endorsements crumbled. A film project was dropped by its distributor. Studios stopped returning calls. "I wasn't blacklisted for doing something wrong," he said. "I was blacklisted for not playing along." Diddy, are you so insecure, so desperate for control, that you'd sabotage a man's career over a bruised ego? This isn't power. It's pettiness, dressed up in a designer suit. Let's not mince words. Sean Diddy Combs is the architect of his own absurdity, a caricature of excess who thought he could play God with a camera and a smirk. From robed rituals to blackout scares, from hidden vaults to upstairs secrets, his world is a carnival of creeps. A funhouse mirror reflecting Hollywood's darkest impulses. He's not a mogul. He's a menace, a man who could have been a legend, but chose to be a laughingstock of lust and leverage. Keep flashing that $1,000,000 smile for the paparazzi. Diddy. Turns out, the cameras have been on you all along, and they've captured a portrait uglier than any tabloid could dream up. So, what's your encore, oh king of debauchery? The courtroom's waiting, the world's watching, and your empire of dirt is crumbling faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Tick-tock. Sleaze supreme. Your time's up. But Hime, trying to find a restroom and avoiding a crowd in the hallway, accidentally opened the wrong door and found himself at the bottom of a staircase. It was dimly lit, with red emergency bulbs, and a faint hum came from above. He swore he saw two people at the top of the stairs, whispering. One looked directly at him. "You lost?" the man asked coldly. Hime apologized and turned back, but not before catching a glimpse of what looked like a heavy black curtain or sheet hanging in the hallway, and under it, faint white light blinking. "I knew that was where they kept the good stuff," he said sarcastically. "Not good like fun, good like evidence, secrets, control." Later, a friend told him the upstairs level was where the meetings happened. Hime asked, "What kind of meetings?" The response, "The kind where people give up something to get something." That line haunted him for years. As the courtroom neared the end of Hime Foxx's testimony, the prosecutor asked the question everyone had been waiting to hear. "Why didn't you come forward earlier?" Hime looked down, took a deep breath, and began. "I was scared," he admitted. "Not for my career. Forget that. I was scared for my life, for my family, for anyone close to me. You don't understand the reach this man has. It's not just about music. It's about silence. He makes people disappear. If not physically, then from relevance, from the industry, from protection. Ask anyone who's tried." He recounted several instances over the years where people who had tried to expose or challenge Diddy were met with immediate consequences. Lawsuits, shutdowns, surveillance, or unexplained firings. "You get iced out," he said. "They don't need to kill you. They just erase you." But when the stories began to pile up, Cassie's testimony, the staff leaks, the federal investigation, Hime knew it was time. "If I stayed quiet now, I was complicit, and I couldn't live with that anymore." His final words in the courtroom shook everyone. Everyone thinks Hollywood is built on dreams, but the truth is, it's built on secrets. And this man, he collected more secrets than anyone. I just hope speaking mine helps break whatever spell he had on all of us. The judge called for a recess, and as Hime walked back to his seat, reporters noted that even some jurors wiped tears from their eyes. The silence that followed was not just from the court. It was a silence of reckoning, the kind that comes when a celebrity's world cracks wide open, and the truth has nowhere left to hide.